Next on NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.
On this week's special edition of NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman, we highlight the 2010 Cattle Industry Annual Convention and NCBA Trade Show from San Antonio, Texas.
And now, a special edition of NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman with host Kevin Oxner.
Hello and welcome to this week's special edition of NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman. I'm Kevin Oxner, coming to you from the 2010 Cattle Industry Annual Convention and NCBA Trade Show right here in San Antonio, Texas. We're so excited to have wrapped up the week of discussing the future of the beef industry with more than 5,600 cattlemen from all across America in attendance. What a great way to kick off 2010. 1 year ago, the National Cattlemen's Beef Association welcomed a new Chief Executive Officer to its team. And joining us today is Forrest Roberts, CEO of NCBA. Thanks for taking some time with us today.
You bet. Thanks, Kevin. Thanks for having me.
You know, your home state of Texas has rolled out some great hospitality for us this week. What would your general assessment of the convention be?
Kevin, we've had a long and a very intense week here in San Antonio, and those of us that are from this part of the world, we love to call this God's country. We've had a great turnout, and I really feel that the mood across the crowd, across the entire convention, from really the get-go all the way through the end of our meeting here, has been very positive. So if you think about all the things that have happened in our economy and really what's happened in our industry, you might think that people would come into this thing a little growly and maybe a little bit looking to what's wrong with the industry. But I really feel that the sense I'm getting is that people come in here to learn. They come in here to engage and really be a part of the process to move this industry forward. So I really feel good about what we've done here this week. We've made a lot of changes to how we flowed through the entire week, and the feedback I've had has been extremely positive. I had one gentleman that was upset, and he said, I think I want my money back on one of the sessions, and so I was concerned about why, and he said, well, it was standing room only, so maybe that's not all bad a problem to have.
It's a good problem to have. Well, speaking of advancing the industry, I know there's been a lot of really pertinent and frankly critical issues being discussed this week. Would you mind recapping for our viewers some of the key issues that you all talked about and discussed this week?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I think that if you look at everything that's been discussed this week, it really will center back to what I would consider to be the principle of this organization, and that principle is about we are focused on protecting the right of our producers across this country to have the freedom to operate their businesses the way that they need to continue to not only make that business profitable, but to move it on to the next generation. And so if you think about the issues within that ability to have freedom to operate, that's where I would start with environmental issues. Those are some major issues around climate change and what our organization has been focused on there in Washington, D.C. Equally as important is when you look at issues like estate tax, or what is commonly known as the death tax. There's been a lot of discussion this week about how exemption levels and even everything from that to an inflationary index is being discussed in terms of legislation that would be moving forward here in the 2010 calendar year. And also when you look at what producers need every day, they need tools so that they can continue to operate. And if some of this legislation that comes forward that would take away tools like antibiotics and require them to use them much differently, that might hamper their ability to have, again, that freedom to operate. So those are just two or three of the major headlines in terms of issues that have been discussed here. That's looking more out toward that producer in the country. Yeah. Inside, if we look at the organization as a whole, we've had a tremendous discussion here this week about how we evolve NCBA to the next level. As an organization, we've discussed a lot this week around our governance structure and how we come out of this meeting with a much more effective, much more efficient, and a much more nimble organization by making some changes to our governance structure. So when you put all that together, I really feel that people feel like they really advanced the ball here, as the old saying goes, this week in San Antonio, and they're leaving here feeling like they really got something accomplished and they've got some action.
Well, there's no doubt that a common theme on this show during the convention has been change. Change in Washington, D.C., change in the industry at large. What do you have planned for 2010 to help cattlemen and the organization prepare for and win in these changing times?
That's a great question. And as an organization, NCBA is really focused on, if you take that whole notion of our principle of freedom to operate, we're taking that one step further and looking at everything we can do to preserve that right of choice for our producers. That right of choice and how they look at their business model, how they look at their production practices. And so if you take that premise and you look at what are we as an organization going to focus on in 2010, the marching orders that we're coming out of this convention with, again, those are marching orders, if you will. The direction is coming from the grassroots of this organization through the policymaking process. And I think what you're going to see is three major areas of focus. Number one is how we really focus in on the current demand picture with beef, and how we regain some lost demand that we've had because of the result of what's happened in our economy over the last couple of years. And equally as important within that is how we look at enhancing or protecting modern beef production practices. As you well know, our industry is under attack on a lot of different fronts. And this is an area for us to really focus on not only promoting beef, but also modern beef production practices. At the same time, there's a lot of discussion here in direction for us about how we increase value to our owner members and how we look at areas of education, other areas of services that are of value to them. And then I think last but not least is a lot of these governance changes. It's really starting to implement a lot of the work that's been done thus far to say, how do we make this organization more effective and more efficient when we look at making decisions, and how that comes about. I'd say those are the three really key priorities that we're coming out of this meeting with.
Outstanding. Well, Forrest, congratulations to you and your team for a great convention. We appreciate your leadership.
You bet. Thank you very much.
You bet. If you'd like to join the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, call us at 1-866-USA-BEEF or visit beefusa.org. One of the most interesting parts of the annual convention is getting to meet cattlemen from all across the country. We had a chance to talk to a few attendees at this year's convention.
Capitol Hill needs to understand that, if they want to help the economy, send the money to the folks that'll spend it, us agricultural folks, instead of giving it to the folks that's storing it.
I think the EPA regulations are really getting out of control, and I don't think the people making the regulations really understand what these people do on a day-to-day level. So before they start or continue to pass laws, maybe they should come visit a little more.
Just don't leave us. Don't quit us. Just think about us, and it's tough out there, and just keep agriculture in mind, because that's what feeds the world.
That they need to really focus on the fact that we feed them. It's pretty simple, and we've been losing that over the years, and not just in the last year, but it's been happening for quite a while, and we need to find ways that the people out in the country, and we meet up with the consumer, but the legislators don't act like they understand where the food comes from and how important it is to support us.
Every time you sit down and eat a meal, focus on what it took to put it there. That would be my message. And take care of the people that made it possible for you to have the meal you just ate.
Thanks, everyone. It's great to hear the perspectives of fellow cattlemen. It's the basis of a strong herd and good nutrition program, and it's something our friends at Purina Mills take very seriously. Joining me in the studio today is Mike Krakowiak. He's the Director of Cattle Marketing at Purina Mills. Thank you for joining us today.
My pleasure, Kevin.
You bet. You know, it's been a fun week here at the convention, and you're representing a couple of companies that a lot of us have known for a long time, Land O'Lakes, Purina Mills, that are now one. Would you tell us just a little bit about the company?
Well, Land O'Lakes Purina Feed is one of the divisions of a very well-known food and agricultural company called Land O'Lakes, and I think most everyone would recognize that name. And we are a very important core business for Land O'Lakes, the animal nutrition business. We've been around since 1894, so our company and our brands have withstood the test of time. And we make nutrition products, feeds, supplements, minerals for all classes of livestock, and also companion animals, the ones that have names. But the cattle business, the cattle nutrition business, is our largest business and represents about 26% of our feed company.
There's been a lot of activity at this booth, I've noticed this week.
Oh, yes.
Can you tell us and summarize the week in your own terms?
Well, it's been a great show. It appears to us it's very, very well attended by the cattlemen. There's lots of energy, amongst the cattlemen in our industry. We've been able to start the launch of a new mineral supplement program. We've been able to meet with a lot of our partners in the industry, and we made a lot of new friends this week, I can tell you that.
Well, I want to follow up with a question about that Wind and Rain program. I know Rod was telling us that you actually launched that here at the convention. Has there been some good interest on that mineral product?
A lot of good interest. You'll see more and more and more about it in the media, but almost everyone who comes to our booth has heard that we had something new. They're asking about it, and we're really excited about the breakthrough, and that's what it is. We call it a next generation mineral product. Our research staff was able to create a breakthrough where we really answer the needs of the 4 key needs that our cattlemen have told us the last few years that they're looking for. And one is, I want consistent intake of the mineral. If the cows don't eat it, we don't get the health and reproductive benefits. We have actually narrowed the variation in consumption within a herd by almost 1/3.
Wow.
And we've never been able to look people in the eye and say, this is what we've done. And this is a big breakthrough. As far as consumption of individual nutrients, whether they be the trace minerals or the major or macro minerals, we've got those really fine-tuned. We have improved or enhanced weather-resistant capabilities. And as far as standing up to heat, standing up to cold, standing up to moisture, rain, and also wind. It's a very heavy, dense product, and it takes a whole lot for Mother Nature to move that product. And then our customers have told us that they would prefer some packaging, the bags, sacks that are a little easier to handle, not quite as slippery, will stand shipment and a little bit of abuse. And we've got totally new packaging, and we've never had anything that's quite that good before to wrap around our products.
That's really exciting. And you know, all of us in the cattle business in this challenging economic times are looking for those things, products and services and actually
Sure.
education and information that'll give us that edge.
Right.
And I'd be interested for you to tell the folks, what do you have in store for us in the year 2010?
Okay. Our staff, whether it be our technical staff, our research staff, our marketing staff, have been working very closely together the last few years to build, I guess, what we would call a pipeline of new products, our new product development pipeline. And it is full. It is full, and it's staged over the next 3 to 5 years to where almost every quarter we're going to have something that will be new, improved, work better for our cattlemen. A little later on this year, probably in May, we will be introducing a technology to the fed cattle industry that will manage the intake, whether the cattle are being fed in a bunk or self-feed or either one. A lot better feed efficiency. It doesn't look like we're going to have cheap feed anytime soon. You know, I wish we were, but we aren't. And then also will help to reduce the manure load, and that's very important from an environmental standpoint. We have several commercial yards that are on this product now. They were part of our field test, because when we develop a product, we use it on our cattle, we get some replications to make sure it's going to work on our cattle, then we take it out to the field in more commercial settings to ramp up, and then we commercialize or bring it out to the industry in total. And then we also have another mineral product where we've got some very compelling data and results on weaning calves, receiving cattle into feed yards, and it's a very reasonable out-of-pocket cost that we think will appeal to a lot of cattlemen out there. And then the health and other ancillary benefits are right there with it too. So,
boy, it does sound like you've got some interesting technology, and we'll keep our eyes open. As a big sponsor of this show, I'm sure we'll be hearing more of that from you all in the months ahead.
Yeah. We're very proud to be a major sponsor of NCBA.
Thank you so much for joining us, Mike.
Yeah.
You bet. You can learn more about our fine sponsor, Purina Mills, by visiting our website at cattlemantocattleman.org. Ahead on NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman, we'll spend a day in the life of NCBA President Steve Fogelsong. Stay with us.
Trailers built for tough country. Big Ben Trailers manufactures a different kind of trailer, one that's built to put up with the rough conditions found on the ranch. Rugged build using heavy-gauge powder-coated steel and a 2x4 rectangle tube frame. There's a 1-inch gap between the side and floor, so there's no place for water or manure to accumulate and rust. Big Ben trailers are loaded with standard features: a lever-action hitch, a 3-foot escape gate and a middle sorting gate, rhino lining along the front edges, and a receiver hitch to tow another trailer, chute, or other equipment. Tough and practical. That's Big Bend Trailers, designed and built by a working cattleman. You can rely on and trust Big Bend Trailers for their durability and convenient features. Reasonably priced for any rancher to afford. For a list of dealers and other design features, visit BigBendTrailers.com. Big Bend Trailers, built cattlemen tough.
Welcome back to this special edition of NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman from San Antonio, Texas. A united cattle industry, that's one of the main goals for the new president of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. Last summer, Cattleman to Cattleman traveled to Illinois to visit with Steve Fogelsong and find out more about the 2010 NCBA president. Brian Baxter has the story.
You'll find the Black Gold Ranch and Feedlot about 60 miles southwest of Peoria, Illinois. Steve Fogelsong and his wife Linda started this family-owned and operated cattle ranch in 1994.
We're a pretty diversified outfit. We're in the feedlot business. Well, obviously, we're in the heifer development business. We're in the cow-calf business, and we actually have some hogs. So we kind of cover all the gamut, and then we've got several hundred acres of crop ground as well. We've been in the feeding business and the cow-calf business for, probably 30 years. And ever since my wife and I got married, we've always been doing that, and even before. And we just kind of continued to expand it and gave us the opportunity then to bring our family in as well. And they've all got a place to be and something to do every day.
Today, 3 generations of Fogelsongs work together to keep the operation running strong. That support will be vital in 2010 because as NCBA president, Steve expects to spend almost 300 days on the road meeting with his fellow cattlemen.
I'll disappear for a week and these guys have to run the place when I'm gone. And that's great that they can, and that's the only reason I can get away is the fact that I know that they'll take care of everything and it'll be fine.
He's going to be gone 280 days out of the year, so he's got to leave everything to us and hope that we raise us right and taught us right to do things, take care of everything while he's gone.
We're fairly young for running a ranch, but he started us when we were old enough to walk. We wrecked more equipment than most people do when they're 16 by the time we were 16, and it's cost him a lot to train us at an early age, but we've come accustomed to running everything.
A hallmark of the Fogelsong family is a commitment to stewardship and improving the land they have. In addition to building new lakes and ponds to serve as wildlife habitat, they raise pheasant and quail to help increase the local population. They also protect their land by using rotational grazing and recycling manure into fertilizer for their crops.
We're about as green as it gets here. Everything that we take off of it goes into the livestock and we put it all back, and that's how we kind of make the cycle of life work here. We've been working on building the soil and fixing the pastures up, for the last virtually 15 years. And kind of got it where we want it now.
Steve is active in many ag organizations. A past president of the Illinois Beef Association, Steve also served on the Cattlemen's Beef Board. Now he steps into the role of president of NCBA, representing cattlemen all across the country.
Steve will make a great NCBA president. He's a type A personality. He can do multitasking to the utmost. He runs the farm from afar and can keep many things going at the same time. He's a learner. He soaks it in, he learns from everybody, and I think that's important, and he has a passion for it. He has a passion for the industry. He believes in it. He believes that being a part of NCBA is what's going to make our family farm work also.
I'm going to try to encourage everybody, small cow-calf producers to big feed yard owners, everybody that's involved in the cattle business, to join together and come together. I think we need to work on making the state affiliates take ownership in NCBA and having them feel like they actually own it and work with it like it's part of them, not maybe just an association, but actually take ownership in that. I think through that we'll be able to expand our numbers beyond the 32,000 members NCBA's got and get that outreach out into the 250,000 people that actually belong to state associations.
Committed to growing NCBA membership, Steve is a believer in the value of cattlemen joining together to accomplish shared goals.
One guy and his voice can never be heard. Only by combining all of us, accumulating everybody together, do we have an opportunity to go to Washington, D.C. and have our voice heard out there. And that is only by the fact that we pool our resources and we put together dollars and we hire the very best people to be there every day.
Steve's passion for his ranch and for the beef industry is easy to see. But when the workday is over, he always finds time to unwind and have fun with his family.
We kind of have a motto, work hard and play harder. And when we're done, we take off and get on one of the lakes in a boat and go tubing or skiing or do something like that. We certainly try to enjoy the ranch. You know, it's not just a place to make a living, it's also where we recreate and have a great time. I mean, the greatest job in the world is one where you're on vacation every day, and I guess that's how I feel most of the time. We enjoy what we do. We love the cattle business. We've got 3 generations that are out here every day. That's kind of why we do what we do, so you can pass this place on to somebody else. And every day we're out here working and building and leaving it for the next generation.
And joining us on the show today is NCBA President Steve Fogelsong of Astoria, Illinois. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Kevin.
You know, the video clip did a nice job sharing with us and telling us a little bit about you and your operation. But I think a lot of our viewers would like to know how you got your start in NCBA to begin with and kind of how you've progressed through the leadership ranks.
Well, that's been a 20, 25-year journey, I suppose. But as I think back on it, you know, and I was just a kid living on a farm in Knox County in Victoria, Illinois, and a good friend of mine, Willard Johnston, was a cattle farmer just south of town. He came up, said, you know, you need to be a member of our Cattlemen's Association, and he sold me a membership. You know, and I can't remember what it cost at the time, but
of NCA probably.
NCA, absolutely, NCA, and through the county deal, and then I progressed pretty quick. Like they asked me to be on their board of directors, and moved my way from there, and wound up at the Illinois Beef Association, where I served as officers and as the president ultimately, and then I served as the membership chairman for NCA about, it's been quite a while back now, and then from that, you know, from there on served as the Region 3 Vice President for NCA, and then ultimately got on the Officers Corps, and here I am, and now I'm president, and it's my turn in the barrel.
Well, let's talk about your turn in the barrel and this next year. What are your priorities for 2010 as president of NCBA?
You know, we've been under an awful lot of negative publicity out there in the country. Both some internal stuff, you know, and I think we can get around that, but probably more importantly, we've been taking an awful lot of heat from either in D.C. from legislation and regulation that's coming at us, and then on the other side of it, we've had people disparaging what we do for a living, and we're going to address that very aggressively this next year. If you're willing to print something that's not truthful, expect us to be right in your face about it, and we're going to really be watching really hard in D.C. that policies, not so much in the legislature, I think, but maybe in the regulation arena, because that doesn't have to even be voted on. Stuff through the EPA that's backdoor politics that slides in there, we're going to be monitoring that and trying to make sure that those things that get put in place don't come back to bite us and hurt our producers.
Throughout the week, we've heard a lot about both the challenges and the opportunities that are ahead for us in 2010 and beyond. What would your final message to folks be, especially those that weren't able to attend the convention this year?
You know, first off, I would ask them to be members. You know, people need to join something, you know, and this outfit, we're all about, you know, promoting our product and doing a great job, you know, keeping us in business. So that's the first thing I'm going to ask, but that's not enough. The second part is to become an advocate for our industry. You know, we all need to become comfortable, and we've got a program called the Masters of Beef Advocacy, and it'll take you 5 or 6 hours. You can do it in the evening or whatever. Sit down at a computer in your house, take that, and what it'll do is give you a set of tools to make you more comfortable to have a 2-minute elevator speech, or maybe at the coffee shop in town with somebody that is, you hear mention just something that's not right about our beef industry. You know, if we're not willing to step out and tell our story, who do we expect is going to? You know, in the absence of information, somebody will step in and fill that void. We need to tell our story and do a good job of it. that'll be my message and my ask of producers all across the country this year.
Well, Mr. President, good luck on the year ahead. We're glad to have you.
Thanks a lot.
You bet. For more information about how you can join the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, call us at 1-866-USA-BEEF or visit beefusa.org. We'll be right back.
Are you hunting for membership value? Join the National Cattlemen's Beef Association to enjoy an exclusive member benefit. 15% off Cabela's gift cards from NCBA for your cattle business. You can use the cards to purchase all of your favorite Cabela's merchandise. Join NCBA today to take part in this outstanding savings program in addition to all of the benefits of being an NCBA member. Visit beefusa.org.
It would be great if all calves could be born under ideal conditions, but unfortunately, Mother Nature isn't always kind, and calving conditions can be less than ideal. And sometimes Mama isn't able to provide the amount or quality colostrum needed to get the newborn calf up and running. In times like these, Mother Nature needs a hand. Feed the baby calves Colostrix Plus as soon as possible after they're born. Colostrix Plus gives them the disease-fighting globulin proteins they need to stay healthy. Colostrix Plus now has 55 grams of globulin protein in every dose, more than any other colostrum supplement. When Mother Nature needs a helping hand, give her the best help you can. Put your trust in Colostrix Plus. To learn more about Colostrix Plus, contact your AgriLabs representative. Visit colostrix.com or call 800-542-8916.
Producers are continually looking for new ways to increase the value of their cattle, and a system called Tri-Merit can offer that benefit along with many others. Here to share some details about the Tri-Merit program is Tyler Brown, National Accounts Manager with Global Animal Management Systems. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Kevin. How are you?
Good. Tell us just a little bit about the Tri-Merit system itself and what it is.
Our Tri-Merit system, we're very proud of our Tri-Merit system at Global Animal Management. It's been around for about 4 years.
Oh, has it? Okay.
And in that time period, what we've been able to do with it is that it is a web-enabled program. So now that we are getting into the web age, most people go online and they're able to look that up, go into the system itself. It was one of the first online USDA process verified programs that was approved for age and source verification.
Gotcha.
And so we're also approved as a data service provider. But in addition to that, what Tri-Merit offers is also offers a way for producers to go in and put health management protocols in and those types of things, and then that will follow those animals as they enter into commerce. So what they're able to do with Tri-Merit is that they're able to put that information in. As I said, it is USDA PVP approved for age and source verification, but then they can also add the health protocols along with it.
Yeah.
And then what that is they can print a certificate or email a certificate to the next point of commerce, and they can follow those cattle all the way to harvest.
Throughout the whole entire production
You bet.
channel. That's great. What are the specific benefits of age and source verification systems like Tri-Merit?
Well, you know, what we're seeing, and our research is indicating the benefits obviously are increased premiums to the producer.
Sure.
In this age of the high cost of raising cattle, you know, you're looking for anything that you can do to help get a premium back. So for a minimal investment, you can get into the Tri-Merit system, and then what you can do with that is do your marketing up front, and then keep good records, be able to keep good records, put those into the Tri-Merit system, do your marketing, and then go ahead and follow those cattle through the system, and then the benefits that you're going to get back are additional premiums on the other end.
Yeah, all of us can use a little of those,
You
a
bet.
few of those, I should say. Hey, one last question. I know you've had some success stories, specifically as it relates to veterinarians and some auction markets.
You bet.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
You know, we've got a number of veterinarians, and actually the way the Tri-Merit system works, it works as a, like we call a facilitator system. So if you take a look at how the veterinarian works within the system, what they do is that the veterinarian acts as the person that puts that information in, local control for the producer. So what we do is that we set veterinarians up. What they do is that they put the information in on age and source verification. And we have a particular veterinarian that's using it now too up in Stockton, Kansas by the name of Dr. Craig Iwanski that has a number of producers on it. And he's followed those cattle through an auction market setting and then all the way out to the feed yard and ultimately to the harvest facility.
That's outstanding.
So in the auction market setting, We're currently working with Joplin Regional Stockyards on their value-added sales that they have. We have another product in addition to Tri-Merit, also called Auction Check, which works with Auction Check.
Okay.
And what Auction Check is specifically designed with the auction market in mind.
Okay.
We work with the auction market, set them up. They too can work with their producers before those cattle are marketed.
Yep.
The cattle have to be approved before they leave the ranch.
Okay.
They come into the auction market. If we get a large number of cattle coming in and value-added sales, then they're able to put those groups of cattle together, get the buyers in that can buy those value-added cattle, and then move them all the way through the supply chain.
That's a great option, especially for maybe some smaller producers.
You bet, you bet.
Outstanding. Thanks again for being with us.
Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate it.
You bet. Today, these are some very important points to keep in mind. For more information on the Tri-Merit system or to see a demo on how to use the program, you can log on to mygamonline.com.
Confidence, value. That's what you get with Tri-Merit, a USDA process-verified program brought to your operation by Global Animal Management Incorporated. Tri-Merit's data management system certifies traditional health processes as well as verifies age and source of individual and groups of animals. To learn more about how Tri-Merit can play a positive role in your operation, visit mygamonline.com. You take pride in the beef you raise. Countless hours invested to assure a safe and wholesome calf crop. Why trust that calf crop to just anyone? Experience the new Dinklage difference with a long history and reputation for outstanding performance and cattle care. We use a combination of cutting-edge technologies and data-driven decision-making to establish our place as leaders in the cattle feeding industry. Allow Dinklage to be a part of your team in the quest to maximize your profits. With 5 locations to serve you in Wyoming, Nebraska, and Colorado. For more information on the new Dinklage difference, stop by one of our yards or visit us on the web at dinklagefeedyards.com.
Our quarter pounder with cheese is made from 100% pure USDA beef. That means there's 0% anything else. That's what we're made of.
Welcome back. It's an amazing story of triumph over adversity, and it's one you're probably familiar with. Chris Gardner's life story was turned into a movie called The Pursuit of Happiness, starring Will Smith. He spoke to cattlemen at this year's meeting in San Antonio, and I had a chance to visit with him and ask him a few questions about his life and his advice to cattlemen. I'm Kevin Oxford at the 2010 Cattle Industry Annual Convention and NCBA Trade Show, and here with me is Chris Gardner, our keynote speaker. We really appreciate your message today, Chris. Would you tell me, to begin with, for those people who may not be as familiar with the Pursuit of Happiness film, of course the film that was based on your life story, share with us just a couple of comments about the rags to riches story that you've gone through.
Well, first of all, for me personally, it's not a rags to riches story. It's a love story between the father and the child. And I've heard it described as rags to riches, but it's about a man who was committed to giving his son something he never had, which was a father. And that's priceless. That's bigger than rags to riches.
I think there's a lot of us that believe that in this industry and around America. Now tell me this, in the story or in the movie, it shows that you were down to $20 in your pocket. Is that you slept in a bathroom with your son in a subway station?
$20 would have been a good day. I probably could have made it, all right? Unfortunately, a whole lot of Americans right now are finding out that $20 bill, looking in their wallets right now, working men and women looking in their wallets right now, trying to figure out how they can make that $20 bill last till the next payday, okay? And as far as sleeping in bathrooms, in airports, and train stations, again, unfortunately, too many Americans right now are finding out that, let me put it this way, 12 to 30% of all the homeless people in America have jobs and go to work every day. There's been a new class of homeless people created in our country, and I call it white-collar homeless.
That's a great point. And tell me this, as you think about the situation in America, Dave, I know you made some personal sacrifices and thought it a choice rather to be a victor as opposed to a victim. What would you tell people who have been given a set of circumstances that they didn't ask for, didn't deserve, but what would you tell them regarding being a victor?
Chris Gardner is not doing anything that you could not do. This is still the greatest country in the world. And it's a difficult time right now. And you know what I really would say to him? Look, when everything was going good and the economy was going up, nobody was crying. Economies, cycles go up and down. The question is going to be, this thing's going to turn, and it will, like they always do. The big question is, who are we going to be when it does turn? Are we going to be the same people who had the same values before the music stopped and the bubble burst? Or are we going to take this time now to say, what's really important to me? What do I really care about? This could be that time.
That's a great message. And you know, there's a lot of people in this business who are in this business because they have a passion and a dream, much like you had.
Oh, man.
And I would just ask, what would you tell cattle producers who are facing some tough times about keeping hold of that dream?
One of the scenes that people comment about most to me in the movie is the scene that takes place on the basketball court. The way you saw it filmed is not the way it was written. As it was written, the little boy throws up the ball and says, I'm going to go pro. The father says, forget it. You can never do it. I couldn't do it, so that means you couldn't do it. I waited until we were going to film that scene that day, and I went up to Will Smith and I said, you can't tell that to that little boy, because that's not what my mom told me. We had a very intense, heated discussion, and we tore up the script right there on the spot, and we wrote, don't ever let somebody else tell you what you can't do. You got a dream, you got to protect it. You want something, go get it. That's the American way.
What a powerful message to all Americans, and specifically to cattlemen. You're a great dad, a wonderful American, and a great example to us all. Thanks for joining us at the convention.
Sir. Thank you for having me. All right, wait, before you go, to all the cattlemen out there, I want to show you one thing. Man.
Hook 'em horns.
Long horns, baby.
That's good.
Right.
Chris,
Thank you
so very much. For more information on Chris Gardner and his amazing life story, visit our website at cattlemantocattleman.org. Stay with us. More convention news is up next.
Join the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. The country's oldest cattle industry organization needs your support as we work each day representing your best interests in Washington, D.C.
NCBA is the voice of the people, if you will. I mean, I think it's extremely important they're out there protecting our interests while we're back home trying to make a living.
You know, we see environmental concerns, we see animal rights concerns that we need to address, you know, on a daily basis. You know, I see NCBA as really our one united voice as far as those issues go.
There are big benefits to being a member, including the monthly magazine, The National Cattleman, as well as discounts on products and services from John Deere, Caterpillar, and Cabela's.
You know, there's many reasons why somebody should become a member of NCBA.
It's easy to join NCBA. Just visit beefusa.org or call us at 1-866-USA-BEEF to sign up today. Comprehensive, practical, powerful. Now's the time to put the power of DNA to work in your herd with the comprehensive Identity Profile. The inside information from Identity can help you make more confident replacement heifer and herd sire selection decisions, add marketability to your feeder cattle, make faster genetic progress, and more. The best time to get started is when you're already working cattle, during branding, weaning, or bull soundness exams. Get started today. Visit iGenity.com or call 1-877-IGENITY to put the power of DNA to work in your herd.
In a time when many companies are downsizing, some are expanding. This happens to be the case for the folks over at Boehringer Ingelheim Vet Medica. Here to talk about this expansion and some new products is Colin Myers, Executive Director of the Cattle Business Unit at Boehringer Ingelheim Vet Medica. Thanks for joining us today.
Well, thank you.
You bet. Now, I know you've expanded your business dramatically and, in fact, grown your product line. Can you tell us a little bit about what that means to beef cattle producers?
Well, I think first off, we should probably explain that late last year we were able to acquire a number of the Fort Dodge portfolio. That includes products like Sidectin, Presponse, Pyramid, Triangle, and what that's done is it's really allowed us to expand our portfolio and have a complete line, because that goes along with some of the BI products such as Express and Caliber and Alpha. So for producers, what it gives us is the opportunity to just give them a complete line of products in our portfolio.
And you've not only expanded your product line, but you've grown your human assets as well, is that right?
Absolutely. We were able to get a couple of the production facilities in Fort Dodge, Iowa, which we've actually gotten a lot more people in operations. Along with that, we've expanded our R&D, and as we all know, a company such as ours, we have to continue to provide new products as well as improve on those products that we have in our portfolio.
So in addition to expanding your R&D and operations folks, you were telling me that you've also greatly expanded your sales organization. What does that mean to customers?
Well, one of the things it does is it allows us to have smaller territories. So what we're able to do is certainly service those customers much better, not covering such large territories. In addition to that, we've expanded our professional service veterinary group quite large. So we'll be able to do more work with veterinarians out there, which we hope in the long term we'll be able to give better service to producers and veterinarians in the cattle industry.
Outstanding. Well, you've got a lot of things to be excited about, a lot of things happening. But if you were to name one or two that you're most excited about in 2010, what would they be?
I think it's the integration of the two sales forces in the entire company, and I think by doing that, we will be able to service our customers better, provide better products, and in the long term, come out with new offerings, and at the end of the day, make our customers more profitable.
Outstanding. We all need that. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
You bet. To learn more about Boehringer Ingelheim Vet Medica and their new products, you can visit their website at productionvalues.com. Our friend Baxter Black is up next. Stay with us.
Great roundup for beef producers. Now Boehringer Ingelheim Vet Medica Incorporated has rounded up the top brands of animal health products. You bet your boots you won't find more ways to protect your cattle. So trust the leader to protect your cattle. Trust Boehringer Ingelheim. Talk to your Boehringer Ingelheim animal health representative and discover how we can help your operation.
Sure, anyone can make a twine bale, but can you make them right bale after bale till the whole field is done? With a John Deere 458 Standard, you can. The new automatic twine tie system takes the headache out of wrapping a twine bale. It packs a whole lot of baler into one affordable package. Ready to show those twine bales who's boss? Talk to your John Deere dealer today.
Trust. Out here, it's that rare combination of reliability, integrity, and the peace of mind that comes with having both. After 20 years of making hitches, the B&W turnover ball has become the most trusted gooseneck hitch in the country. Why is that important? Because trust is not only hard to earn, it's hard to find. The turnover ball gooseneck hitch by B&W. Trusted.
Beef Quality Assurance, BQA, is a program designed to ensure the consumer that your beef is safe and wholesome and of the highest quality, and it lets the buyers of your calves know that you know what you're doing. It's consumer friendly and can be a big part of giving them a great dining experience. So check it out at bqa.org and see what it takes to get involved in your state. Whether you got 15 cows or 1,500, it's the right thing to do.
Whenever I get a calving call from a good cow man, there's a pretty good chance that by the time I get there, my arm will not be the first one up the back of that cow. They'd have already tried to pull it, and if it was easy, they wouldn't call me. As the only local cow vet, I have calved a lot of heifers, and as such was most reluctant to keep score, because no matter how I tried and tried, I couldn't save them all. So on the side, I opened up a taxidermy store. Stuff your heifer was my motto. It was on my business cards, and the message I recorded on the phone said, if I can't save her, you can. Is a conversation piece, ever mounted, or just standing there alone. I stuffed them in positions that I thought might catch the eye. One leg upraised, her milking on a tire, or rearing up like Trigger, with X's on her eyes, surrounded by a priest and candles, waiting to expire. There were action poses in the stance of how she last appeared, like on her back, a huge midline incision, or standing with the calf half out, feet first, the hind leg showing. It looked like some real bad rear end collision. Or head down in the charging mode, about to mow you down, the water bag, a timeless counterweight, or a half mount, just the backside, with my OB chains protruding as I last saw her going out the gate. The market for my heifers in distress grew leaps and bounds. My cuddly cows were flying out the doors. People placed them on their mantle. People put them on their lawn like pink flamingos grazing on all fours, until, alas, some thought they saw a conflict going on twixt my practice and my taxidermy shop. These charges pain me deeply, I told my vet technician. My reputation always been the top. What makes them think I'd compromise my veterinary work just to make a little money on the side? Well, she said, they might be misinterpreting your heifer calving price. Not many charge $100 and the high. This is Baxter Black from out there.
Thanks, Baxter. It was great seeing you here this week. We'll be right back.
Get ready for the Rocky Mountain Roundup. Join the 2011 Cattle Industry Annual Convention and NCBA Trade Show in the city that gets 300 days of sun a year, Denver, Colorado. It's not only a great opportunity to connect with your fellow cattlemen, but you will also attend important industry meetings, find out about the newest technologies, and get all the information you need for a successful year. We'll see you in Denver at the Cattle Industry Annual Convention and NCBA Trade Show, February 2nd through the 5th. For more information, visit beefusa.org.
I'd like a moment with you cow-calf folks to talk about BQA, the Beef Quality Assurance Program. BQA has been designed to reduce bruises, blemishes, lamenesses, and impolite behavior in the calves you market. The point is to guarantee as best we can to our buyers and to consumers that we cattlemen know what we're doing, that we're treating our animals right, and the meat they buy is safe and wholesome. Now, most of the big feedlots and ranchers have signed on already, but that leaves the rest of us, and even if you only have 20 cows and a job in town, you need to be involved. Because every calf you sell is going to wind up on a plate someday, and we want our customers, all of them, to have a great dining experience, right? BQA helps furnish you with management tools and useful information to increase the value of your calves. So check it out at bqa.org and see what it takes to be involved in your state, because it's the right thing to do.
Welcome back. It's a great place for new products, ideas, and people. This week we had a chance to catch up with attendees at this week's trade show.
Yes, it's worthwhile, and we have to have a concentrated representation because, you know, we're less than 2% of the people today, and we're fighting it pretty hard. And it has been ugly lately. But to have an organization, a national organization, as well as all the state organizations, you have to be a member. You do, no matter what. And let the experts work for us. And we need to be more visible.
I think you need to be a part of NCBA or something, because we got to all get on the same page and travel together if we're going to get any work done.
I think the big reason to come to the convention period is for the information that you get and the people you meet throughout the industry. Some of the main movers and shakers of the whole industry are here, and yeah, I think in the future it behooves behooves a producer like me to know who those people are and who's making decisions for you and who's helping you and what they're going to do to help make this thing get a little better.
Twofold. One of the things is really the support that cattle producers can give back to Allied Industry and the partners we have there. The people that have these booths and are involved in the trade show are not just business people, they're actually partners of the cattle industry, and so it's important that we're able to come together in a common place, see new products, and support their efforts to be involved in the industry. And the other part is, it just gives people a break. You know, it's a tough life we do. There are sometimes few rewards, and to be able to come and meet friends and make new friends is awfully important to people like us.
It allows us to be exposed to possibly some new ideas, as well as possibly some breaking news in the industry that we might not get otherwise, or we might get later. So it may give us a little bit of a leg up here, as opposed to someone that did not attend the session.
Well, I just think it helps give you the competitive edge with any information you can pick up that's out there, and the awareness of what's affecting the industry right now. And it's always warmer wherever the convention is and where we live.
Well, actually, I haven't been through the entire trade show, but I really enjoyed playing blackjack at the Purina booth, and almost won a chance to win a John Deere Gator.
It's definitely very interesting. Everything's all nice and shiny. Like the trailers, they're just very shiny. It's definitely a lot to look at.
We'd love to see you at next year's Cattle Industry Annual Convention and NCBA Trade Show in Denver, Colorado. For details, visit beefusa.org. Next week, we'll take you inside this year's Cattlemen's College. Plus, we'll introduce you to the Colorado State Seed Stock Judging Team, and we'll learn more about the American Dietetics Association. Thanks for joining us for this special edition of NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman here in San Antonio, Texas. We'll see you back here next week on RFD TV.